All around the country, Americans are exercising their right to vote as both political parties battle for control of Congress. NewsWatch's Payton Green has more on what to expect from this year's elections. Payton?
Well, thanks, Taylor. And of course, we told you earlier in the broadcast about the elections going on here in Mississippi, but the rest of the country is just as on edge for this year's election. Now, joining me now is Ole Miss Public Policy Major Zachary Barlow. And Zach, these elections are really big, and they're always more important than I think people realize. So can you tell me a little bit about just how big these elections are going to be?
Well, you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't give the midterm elections the weight that they deserve. They think that because we're not electing a new president or re-electing an old one, that it's not important. But it really is, because it's where we elect our Congress. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And one of the reasons I think that it's so important is because ultimately it's, who ends up being in control of the Congress. And so can you tell me a little bit more about that and why that's such a big deal?
Yeah, so right now we have a Republican-controlled House and a Democratic-controlled Senate. Now, what we're looking at tonight is that the Republicans need a net gain of 6 votes to control both the Senate and the House. And with both the Senate and the House under their control, they will be able to pass more laws in their favor.
Yeah, and of course, it varies from state to state, but there are a lot of very important issues coming up in this election. And so, Zach, can you tell me a little bit about some of the biggest issues that Americans will be voting on for today?
Yeah, absolutely. What we're looking at a lot of this midterm is economic issues and energy issues. This is reflected in this race going on in Colorado right now, where energy is a big deal. And, this is also reflected in the demographics that we're seeing coming out and voting. We're getting a lot less minorities, a lot less women, and a lot less millennials than usual, because social issues aren't really a big deal on the ballot, with the Supreme Court recently making a lot of rulings that ruled in favor of social issues, like striking down gay marriage bans in many states and striking many parts of the Texas abortion law. A lot of millennials, minorities, and women simply don't have those issues pulling them out to the polls tonight.
A lot of big issues on the ballot, but remember, it's definitely going to make for a very interesting election. But remember, you can still go out and vote. You've got plenty of time. The polls don't actually close until 7 o'clock tonight, so make sure you get out there and vote. Thanks for joining me, Zach. I'm Payton Green. Back to you guys at the desk.